Hey, what's up? This is Toby, and this is Shoot the Messenger. So today we're going to talk about Valentine's Day. A lot of us don't even know where the heck it came from, what it is, or what it's even about. We know it's about hearts and little dudes with arrows, cupids flying around. We know that much, but what we don't know is where it originated from, what it's all about, and all that. So we did a little bit of research for you. So were you interested or what, to find out that it was about martyrs?
I was, man. It really kind of hit home with me more on a personal level as far as what Valentine's Day has kind of become. You know, I'm a little bit on the opposite side of things as far as you this year. Me being more of the bitter side, and me being more of the not really enjoying the whole Valentine's Day feel.
Yeah. I definitely enjoy a little Valentine's Day a little bit more than you at this point, I think. But that's just I'm in love, I'm married, I got a woman at home.
And I would like to give a shout out to that because, it's good to see my boy happy. And she's an amazing woman. Love that woman too. So she's good. Yeah. Good for you, brother. Good for you. She's a unicorn, man. They're hard to find nowadays.
Yeah, she's good for me. But as far as like the martyr stuff goes, like the definition of a martyr being somebody that's willing to sacrifice their own being for a cause is interesting. And you had an interesting perspective on that as far as Valentine's Day goes, because I really can't see the connection, or I really didn't until you said something, because it's kind of they seem like two different things, and it's like, oh, love and hearts and all that, and then a martyr is almost like a rebel.
Yeah. Well, and first of all, who knows if that's really the connection?
Yeah.
We didn't read that far into it. But as far as just kind of an instant connection that I saw is I've been there. I've been in love so hard to where I would literally have given my life for somebody, and then to be in that position and to love somebody that deep and that hard and let them kind of steer your life in a way that you maybe normally wouldn't have gone, and put yourself in a position that you normally wouldn't even be in, and then to just all of it be gone all of a sudden. It's like I can see why they'd put the martyr on it, because
the intensity of it.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the thing. It's like love does strange things to people. I think it's probably the most powerful emotion, besides hate. Mm-hmm. But love can also create that emotion, so it's like, I don't know, man. It's been rough for me because I never pictured myself as a 50-year-old man, single, without love, because it was like, I'm a Cancer, me. I'm a big sloppy, just soft on the inside. Used to love the mushy stuff, and then it was like, I'm in this position now, and it's a huge. I don't know, it's a huge difference. It's like, I love stepping back and looking at people like you and your relationships, but I don't have that want to be there anymore, like I used to, which is really weird for me.
I was before, my wife now, I was married. I was with a woman for 12 years, 13 years. I had 3 kids with her. We we were married for 8 years, and after that went south, I was very much in the same boat as you. I got to a point where it didn't seem like it was even worth it to try and even go find someone else when I don't feel like I could even trust anybody. And if you don't, I don't want to sit here and just say I can't trust women, but that is who did it to me. So at the end of the day, I'm walking around thinking, I thought I had someone that was extremely trustworthy. I thought I had someone that loved me and would never do anything bad to me. And so when it actually happened, I couldn't believe it. It almost put me in a state of shock for, I want to say months, but really it was over a year until I could finally get to a point that I could tear myself out of it, because I didn't want anything to do with women. I couldn't believe that I'd even gone through that, especially because I didn't feel like I deserved it. And when you are trying your best to just be a decent human being, you know, you're being loyal, you're doing all the things you're supposed to do, and you feel like, hey, this is, you know, I found someone that I'm going to be with for a long time. And then when it goes bad, I mean, it's just not easy to be able to pick up from that. I have a friend right now who's going through it. As of a week ago, the person he's been with for like 20-something years just up and left, you know, and he's going to have a hard time now finding himself again, because that's all he knows. When you've been with someone for that long, it's all you know. And when you commit yourself to someone like that, it takes a big part of you, you know, with them when they leave. And so
it feels like all of you in the beginning.
And you have to rebuild.
Yeah.
And so that's a process in itself, you know. And I don't know, love's scary in that sense, because it's like you do have to give yourself to them. You do have to give your all to them. And then when they take advantage of that, you just think, okay, well, what is that? Are they all going to do that? Because I thought this one was very trustworthy, very honest. And if this is one of the good ones and she still did that to me, then I don't even know where to go from here.
That's the thing. That's the thing. They can put you in the most vulnerable position that you, and I say the people you're in love with, you know, who no matter who it is, it doesn't matter whether it's a guy or a girl or anything, you know. It's really love in general. It's just, it can put you in such a vulnerable position, you know, when it's just ripped away and you're just kind of lost.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you were saying a little bit ago about how love's like intense. It's an intense feeling. I watched a Joe Rogan episode where he had a neurologist on there, and the neurologist was talking about how the brain works and how love and hate both shoot off endorphins. I thought this was super interesting, because he was talking about how, you know, what that same feeling you get when you fall in love with somebody is that intense, crazy feeling. I mean, and even I reference this all the time. That crazy, intense feeling is different at a younger age. Like when I was a young kid and that stuff hit me, that was intense. Yeah, that was a whole another type of intense. Yeah, yeah, and it's I've even said to my wife before, and she made me feel bad, because she was like, well, I get butterflies with you, but that made me feel like a jerk, because what I said to her was, I remember when you were young and you would fall in love and you'd get butterflies just talking to a girl. You liked her so much that you would just get like weird about it. And so, you know, and that's something that I think you kind of grow out of. And I don't know, like my wife doesn't necessarily agree with me. She thinks that you will meet someone that gives you butterflies. And so I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I just feel like when you're younger and kind of naive, it's just way more intense.
I think you also don't really know exactly what love is. And so you target a lot of stuff as like love. You know, it's much easier to say that I love this person when you're young and you're just like, oh man, you know, because then you're also discovering more things than just love. You know, you're discovering physical touch, and you're discovering all that stuff for the very first time. But then, you know, like I can say from an instance, you know, after the big heartbreak and everything, and just kind of attempting to date again, everything is different without trust.
Yeah, exactly.
That even that touch, even everything you do, there's just always question there, and it's just this different feeling, man. It's like I miss that feeling of touch with trust.
Like I had to convince my boys in high school that, you know, every girl that they dated or talked to wasn't the one like they thought they were. Because you realize this as a dad and as someone that's gone through it and someone that's grown. You realize that the chances, and I'm not saying this ain't possible. You can definitely marry your high school sweetheart. People do it all the time. I'm not saying that if you can't fall in love and
all of our dreams are made of. Right?
Yeah. So I'm not saying that's not possible. Good for you, for the people that have actually done that. My thing is, you know, as a dad, I'm looking at my kid just completely heartbroken over a breakup when he's 14, going, hey, it's not the end of the world. You will meet other girls, And trying to convince them of that is nearly impossible. They are so into them, and the feelings are so, especially your first love. Like, that's crazy. The first time you meet someone that you really, really, really like, it is insane.
Oh yeah.
It's insane. I mean, and from our era, there was no cell phone, so we would sit on the telephone and talk for hours, while it was tied up, going when everybody would call. Right? So,
You're right. Yeah.
right. Or if someone was on the internet, right? Like, yeah, exactly. So, we grew up in a whole nother world, another era where things were a little bit different. And I like that, though. I miss those days. I wish the kids could know what it's like to have to use a landline, to have a landline
Have
and
a
just
pager.
wait for a girl to be able to talk to her, like not have that instant gratification. Like, it meant so much more when,
For sure.
you know, or like even letters. Like, it's corny, but like when we were younger, you could write a letter to a girl you liked. Or
Bro, I
something,
still got a box of all my
Really?
high school letters.
Yeah, really?
From every
You
single
still have
girl.
them? Crazy.
Don't tell anybody I told you.
Yeah. Okay. But but like, yeah, like I'll read the yearbook, and I read like what people wrote in it. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to go back there and read like what all these people that I don't even talk to nowadays had to say in the
Dude, it's crazy. Yeah.
yearbook. It's just fun.
Melissa, Angela,
You know? Yeah.
all those notes are still there. It's
Yeah,
so
really?
funny. I even got hall notes, crazy ones.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my first girlfriend. Actually, I was on a school bus. I was in 4th grade, and I was sitting in the back of the bus with my buddies, and someone passed a note back from the front. Right? They're all passing it back. I get the dang note. I open it up, and it was a girl that I thought was cute, but I never really knew she liked me or anything. And she's saying, I'm in 4th grade. Okay, shit. It says, "Will you be my boyfriend?" Right? And I'm like, what the heck? It's like, yes or no. You know, I circle yes and pass that stuff back to the front. And that's how I got my first girlfriend. So that's so organic, though.
Yeah.
And that's what I miss for today's world. I wish they got to witness that. Everything's so
Digital. Mm-hmm. Digital. It's thumbs. It's just like with your head down, you know, when our heads used to have to be straightforward and like.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't have to trade passwords. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's like a thing kids do nowadays. Like, my children will trade passwords just for trust with their partner. Here's my Instagram password, here's mine. Here's my Facebook password, here's mine. And they do that just so they can trust each other. And that is in a world where everyone's just jumping in your DMs. Everybody's talking to your girl.
You leave yourself so vulnerable that if somebody gets pissed, they can just literally, with AI and stuff now, it's all over.
Yeah, it's scary. And so it's such a different world. I feel bad. I don't know how you kids do it. It's
hopefully you can still find that real love, you know, like we did. You know,
that organic side we're talking about.
Absolutely.
It's like I'd like to know that you were walking down the road one day.
Yeah.
Held the door open for a woman, and she was like, "Thank you." Yeah. You got her number. You guys ended up hooking up, being together. That's organic to me, right? The whole online thing, I got no issues with it. It is what it is. It's just a different world.
So and that brings me to a good, an interesting topic. So, entering the online dating world, being a 50-year-old man.
Yeah.
I don't care. Any of you out there can talk all the crap you want, being, you know, of maybe similar age and single, and I hate dating websites, but being placed in front of people your own age, where you can instantly spark a conversation, you can not without having to go to a bar, without having to do whatever, you know, and sit there and kind of talk back and forth, and then, you know, exchange phone numbers and then do that. I've had some really cool experiences with that, you know, especially lately. It's like you can find like-minded people that are exactly. You know?
Exactly. I actually met my wife on a site called OkCupid, right? And I don't.
I'm just
care.
joking. I'm joking.
I don't care. And
I remember. Okay.
It's one of those things where the reason I actually like that site myself was you would take a survey,
Yes,
And
you're
then-
right. And it would match you
Yes,
to those people.
and then they would take a survey when you signed up, and then it would all of a sudden just say, "Hey, you're like a 98% match with this person."
Yep.
And then you go and you can look at their questions they answered, and you can see like, wow, we're literally a lot alike. They answered all the questions almost exactly like me, and so it's not that big of a surprise to me that I ended up marrying Angela because we were very compatible. And that's why I like that system. I think it's a cool way to match people on likes and dislikes.
For
and,
sure,
you know.
that makes it feel good to kind of be single at my age because of that fact that I could actually find somebody that was, still like that.
You know, I saw a really cool meme the other day. It reminds me of what you just said was, sometimes it's not. It was a meme that said sometimes God just has a different plan for you, and it was a little stick figure, right, who was throwing darts at a board, like a dartboard, or at a target, and everything was going phew, 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 around it. He couldn't hit it. He was getting mad. He was chucking darts at it, and everything wouldn't hit the dartboard. And then it panned backwards, and there was 20 dartboards back there, and they were all bullseyes.
I love it.
Yeah. And so I liked it because he was just saying, like, sometimes he has a different plan for you. And what you just said is, it doesn't really, maybe you weren't supposed to meet who you're supposed to meet until you're 52.
My stars say that. They say my life doesn't start until 50. And
Exactly.
that's what that means to me because being a Cancer, I really do, man. I revolve around having a partner that is just kind of somebody that I can be with 24 hours a day even. That's why I've always worked with the people I've dated because it's just, I don't know. It's just.
You can't dwell on your past either because the people that you don't end up with, you weren't supposed to be with anyway. No. So there's no reason to look back and go, dang, what happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. You're not supposed to be with them. That's like, sometimes it takes a while to realize it, but when it happens for a reason, and you won't be able to meet the next person on your journey if you stayed there. Yeah. So you have to go past that level. Sure. Once you pass that step, now you can move forward. One of my favorite sayings in the whole world is, it's okay to fall, just fall forward, right? Yeah, exactly. And I like that because that is always just got to keep going. And at the end of the day, you're going to find someone eventually. Yeah. They're out there. For sure. Like, and online dating, for me, is a good thing. Yeah. Like you were saying, some people might be like, online dating. Online dating, I guarantee most of you have tried it. And most of you.
And yeah, it's terrifying. It's terrifying. It is because there's fake profiles. There's, a lot of people use way younger pictures for their profile. And then you meet up and you're like, oh, and you don't want to be an insensitive bastard and say.
I've had some, yeah.
So.
I'm not even getting into that story, but
it's
I've
kind
had
of
that
strange.
happen.
That's why all the pictures that I put up on my, are kind of do put the best of the best, but they're recent. And then you also put a few that are just kind of like, this is me, Rod, just kind of in.
You don't want them to see you and be disappointed.
No.
That's why I can never understand the whole filter thing. Because, like, what am I going to do? Make myself look like a supermodel so when you see me in person, you're like, that's not what I.
And that's why I don't get the deer mice women that are online that put the little noses and then the ears and I call them deer mice women because they're kind of like.
I was wondering what you were talking about. Yeah, but now I know what you're talking about.
Exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. And you're like, who is that? There's like, you can't even see. And some of them, their entire profile, they're deer mice ladies.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you just don't know what you're going to see when you meet up. And so. Again, you kind of feel insensitive by swiping left for a deer mouse lady, but you're like, that's not that.
Yeah. That's one site I've never tried because it kind of came around after I met my wife. But Tinder, I've never done the Tinder thing.
Yeah, I pretty much just Facebook. Why were you admitting these things on that? But yeah, Facebook dating in case you need to know where to find me.
I actually heard it's one of the better ones. To be honest.
It's amazing because you can have mutual friends, and it shows you that you have mutual friends.
Yeah.
And that shows you right then that that's a real person, number one.
Yeah,
number two, they're local, or local-ish, and It's so cool. I'm just not the bar guy. I'm not the guy to go out to a bar and meet a girl. You know, I'd rather start talking to somebody and say, hey, you want to go meet for a hike? You know, or let's go do something a little bit more, you know, go out for a coffee.
And that's another thing about online dating that I actually think is pretty cool is, like you said, like if you're into hiking, and then you obviously can online, you can find someone that likes to hike. If the chances of you walking through Safeway, bumping into some girl, like I said earlier, and being like, hey, exchanging numbers, and then her happen to have all these common interests with you is more unlikely, very, you know. So, and as much as I like the organic side, that's definitely a plus to the online stuff is you get to narrow in, you know, and find, you know, like, you know, people that are good for you.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
So,
Hopefully.
yeah.
I mean, you can only tell so much online, man. So
Well,
it's
and like
like you just
two of my children are in their first relationships, and they're long term now, and it's, you know, it's interesting for me because I'm rooting for them, you know. But it's it's like, you know, the whole spread your wings thing and the curiosity killed the cat thing, you know, without saying too much. It's like it worries me. It worries me a little bit. But they're so good together. Like my daughter and her boyfriend are excellent together. I can't see them ever breaking up. I can tell you, I wasn't looking forward to my daughter dating, and so the fact that when she did meet someone, I was just figured I was just gonna want to whoop his ass all the time, you know. And he's the opposite. He's a sweet boy. He's a nice kid. He's very, very well mannered. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm just super happy she met someone that nice because she could have just been one of those girls that just dating these douchebags, and that just would have drove me nuts, you know. So I'm super happy. And then my other younger boy has been with his now for, I mean, shoot, 4 or 5 years now, and that's his first girlfriend, and they are madly in love with each other too, and they're building together, and it's amazing to watch. It's just, you know, in today's society, that's like, I feel lucky. Like I feel lucky that they both got, because what all the stuff we were just saying about DMs and trading passwords and just being able to even trust each other in today's world is hard enough. And so I'm very fortunate that both of the kids, but I do sometimes worry that eventually they're going to get to a point where, and I had this talk with my daughter. I told her, I said, hey, Alex is a good kid, and you know, you guys are young. You guys are 19. You only know each other. You guys are going to grow together, and, you know, and I hope you guys can stick this thing out, you know. But you have to remember one thing, though. This is what I told her. You and Alex only know each other. And I don't know. I hope you guys can keep it that way. But I was like, I said, I'm not asking you to forgive Alex if he does something stupid. I'm just saying, this is what I did. I said, I'm saying, just know the situation you're in. You know what I mean? And she's like, I get it, Dad. And I'm like, okay. Because it's, especially as a male.
Alex also knows you're her father.
Yeah.
And so he sounds like a smart kid. And
You heard that, Alex.
If he is that smart, he probably won't break her heart.
For sure.
Just
and
saying.
that is, but he's also a man. Well, he's growing up to be a man, right? He's getting there. He's a growing boy.
But still, if he breaks her
And yeah. And so, and I just think about it because, you know, I had a high school sweetheart. You know, I was with her for a while too, and I've been through it. That didn't last. But if you would have asked me at the time, I'd have told you, shit, probably forever. If you'd asked her, she probably would have said it was gonna last forever. So you don't really know when you're like at that point of your life. And then, so.
It's crazy being 50 and you still look back on your high school sweetheart. And you're like, I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder. But.
Well, I'll tell you, mine, yeah, I made the right move. So, yeah, me and her wouldn't be compatible today. So, my high school sweetheart, we wouldn't.
Mine probably wouldn't. I don't know, man. I don't know. It just depends, you know. Life, the different roads that life takes, kind of make
Yeah,
you who you are. So.
I feel like it was kind of meant to be for me and her to go different ways.
Oh, for sure. Look who you wound up with.
Yeah,
of course
exactly.
it was.
And I feel like the path she did take, because I've watched from a distance, and in the past she has taken, definitely not the path I've taken.
Well,
know what I
and
mean?
my high school sweetheart and I didn't even date, so it was good that I left that
Yeah.
behind, because it was like
Yeah.
we were more just best friends, and it was like
Yeah. It's not a holiday.
it's not a holiday.
I tried to call in sick because it was a holiday. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. But
Nobody should not work for a day that
But-
is.
I mean, I was dumb enough to ask if it was a holiday though, so I can't play stupid. I did ask if it was all, because I mean, it's like, is Easter a holiday?
Yes, that's Christ's birthday or something.
I know that. But this is like.
Or wait, is that Christmas?
This is the V-Day, right?
Just joking. I know what it is.
Well, he's like, we know all about Easter and Christmas.
Easy.
Trust.
Duh.
Trust us.
I mean,
we know what we're doing.
We know what they represent. We know what they stand for. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about V-Day.
Yeah, that's too crazy.
Go get your girl a GoPro for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, go get a GoPro for you, lady. Fly a drone with a GoPro on it and drop off flowers.
Superman and Lois Lane
Drop off flowers.
shot that goes all the way down. Yeah, that would be
That's easy.
instant love.
Well, that's what we got today for you. That's our Valentine's Day talk. This guy's Mr. Lovebug. I'm the TOB. Until next time,
I'm just joking. She's out there somewhere.
peace out.
Ooh.